Welcome to Arsenal Report, your daily source for all things Arsenal FC. From match updates and transfer talk to behind-the-scenes stories, we've got it all. If you're a true gunner, this is your home. Hit subscribe and join the pride. Victory through harmony. Let's get started. German referee Felix Zweier will take charge of Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal's Champions League semi-final second leg. The two teams meet in the French capital on Wednesday, with host PSG boasting a 1-0 advantage from last week's first leg at the Emirates. Zweier, 43, will be calling the shots at the Parc des Princes as both sides vie to reach the final in Munich on Saturday, May 31st. But the referee, highly rated by UEFA, has a tainted history. As a young official in 2005, Zweier accepted a £250 bribe from fellow referee Robert Heuser. Zweier served a 6-month ban, while Heuser received a 2-year, 5-month prison sentence and was banned from any role in football for life. Fans might remember Zweier from refereeing England's Euro 2024 semi-final against the Netherlands. Jude Bellingham has also had a run-in with the referee, who took charge of Bayern Munich's 3-3 draw with RB Leipzig on Saturday. In 2021, Bellingham brought up Zweier's past during a post-match interview while playing for Borussia Dortmund. You give a referee that has match-fixed before the biggest game in Germany. What do you expect? The England star told Viaplay. You can look at a lot of the decisions in the game. For me, it wasn't a penalty. Mats Hummels, is not even looking at the ball and he's fighting to get it, and it hits him. Bellingham was subsequently fined £34,000 for his comments. Zweier wanted a personal apology, telling Bild, "I would prefer to clarify this in a personal conversation with Jude Bellingham, and have offered such a personal conversation to Borussia Dortmund." For me, it's not about punishment, but about the realization that he went too far. I would accept a sincere apology. The statement deliberately creates the false impression that I did not referee the match to the best of my ability. It is personal, disparaging, and disrespectful. Even if you put yourself in the subjective perspective, which is marked by emotion, his statement is far from professional or factual. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta will be hoping for no controversies on Wednesday as his team bid to overturn their first leg defeat. Arteta is optimistic that the Gunners can produce a famous comeback. The Arsenal manager told ESPN, "Excitement, goosebumps, wanting the day to arrive, the feeling of being very prepared, very convinced, and knowing that the opportunity is to play in a Champions League final. And when you get to that point, you have to give your life for it." Mikel Arteta has been told by Jamie O'Hara that he should be doing whatever he can to persuade Kevin De Bruyne to swap Manchester City for Arsenal when he departs the Etihad at the end of the season. De Bruyne, 33, announced last month that he would be leaving the former Premier League champions in the summer. It has since emerged that City informed the Belgium international that they would not be offering him an extension to his current deal, which expires at the end of June. The former Wolfsburg man has already been linked with clubs in the United States, but he has also refused to rule out playing for another team in England. And O'Hara says that pursuing a deal for the player, who has been City's orchestrator-in-chief during a period of sustained success, is a no-brainer for an Arsenal side who have failed to win the Premier League title in successive years. The former Tottenham midfielder said on Sky Sports, "Every team in the Premier League would take Kevin De Bruyne. If he is genuinely going to go, Mikel Arteta knows him. He should get straight on the phone and say, 'Come and sign for Arsenal. We'll win the league with you. I'm going to sign a striker. I'm going to have you in midfield. We'll sort it out with you and Odegaard.' They've got Champions League football. I would be straight on the phone, give him whatever he wants, get him in that team because he's a winner, he knows how to win, and he is still a top player. It makes a huge difference." De Bruyne has been open about the circumstances behind his City exit, including the details of how the decision was relayed to him. Intriguingly, he refused to rule out staying in the Premier League when the idea was put to him after City beat Everton last month. It came as a bit of a shock. "I'm open for anything, including staying in the Premier League," he told reporters. "I have to look at the whole picture, sporting, the family, everything together, what makes the most sense for my family. I don't know what it is. It depends on when you speak to people about projects and things." Mikel Arteta is facing the biggest challenge of his Arsenal reign in Paris. And for some members of his Arsenal squad, they are also playing for their long-term futures at the club. Arsenal trail French champions Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 from the first leg last week and face a huge uphill battle to turn the tie around. PSG have gained a reputation for being even stronger at the Parc des Princes, so Arteta's men face a daunting task. And yet, after beating Real Madrid in both legs, it is not an impossible one. But equally, it will be a defining night for players when heroes can be made and reputations strengthened. Arsenal's squad has been pushed to the limit this season because of injury, and there can be no doubt that a major overhaul is required in this summer's transfer window. That will leave several players knowing that they face new competition, new faces, and a shake-up after what has been an underwhelming and disappointing domestic season. Wednesday could be the biggest night in the careers of some of these players, and that is why they must seize the opportunity to reach the final, but also secure their futures. Thomas Partey was a huge miss at the Emirates against PSG, and not only did Arsenal miss his presence through suspension, but also it meant that Declan Rice had to play deeper, and the Gunners missed his forward runs. Partey, 31, is out of contract this summer and wants to stay at Arsenal, with the club holding initial conversations with the Ghana international. His previous season was blighted through injury, but he has come back well this term, and yet the arrival of Martin Zubimendi, who is set to join from Real Sociedad for £51 million, casts a fresh doubt on Partey's future. In the big games, Partey has shown he has something to offer, and with Jorginho set to depart at the end of his contract, Arsenal may need strength in depth. If it was not for Partey's performances in Europe, then they might have moved on already, and yet now there is a dilemma on whether to renew one of the club's bigger earners. Arsenal are targeting a midfielder, a striker, and also a left winger in this window, and that has raised doubts over Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard, as there has been interest in both players from Saudi Arabia. They may have to sacrifice one of them to bring in a new winger, and Martinelli has really stepped up, shining against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Martinelli looks to have a future while Trossard is older. His contract is running down, and while he has been a superb signing and squad member, his teammate may have grabbed the mantle. Jakub Kiwior looked set to be heading for the exit door this summer, with the likes of Alexander Zinchenko and Kieran Tierney, but he has been excellent in the absence of Gabriel and may just have staked his claim for another year. Ricardo Calafiori has been a big disappointment after signing as Arsenal's biggest deal last summer, but the best quality for any new signing is availability. The £42 million defender has been plagued by injuries, but that was also the case in Italy. That now looks a gamble that has not worked to date. David Raya has been superb for Arsenal, but has been erratic with his performances, particularly his reckless passing out from the back, and yet knows there is no competition behind him. Arsenal need a new number 2 keeper to apply pressure on Raya, and often a reserve keeper can be as important as the number 1 to ensure he stays on his toes. They will need big performers and big performances in the Parc des Princes to save a season which has still not secured Champions League football for next year. That is why this night is so important for Arsenal, and could have a long-term effect on the Wild squad. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta appeared to indicate inconsistency in how Premier League rules have been applied this season. He was speaking in response to questions about the Gunners improving their disciplinary record after several red cards in the early stages of the season. Arteta's Gunners took on Bournemouth on Saturday afternoon, having lost the reverse fixture 2-0 at the Vitality Stadium. William Saliba picked up a straight red card that day, in what was Arsenal's 3rd league dismissal of the season. Their 4th red arrived in January, when Miles Lewis-Skelly got his marching orders against Wolves. That dismissal was later overturned though, and they have only had one sending off since. It's been because the rules at the beginning of the season when we were punished, then after 15 games they were very different. So they resolved them, Arteta told reporters. So hopefully next season we'll have some new rules for some games and then change them again. That would be great, if possible. Especially for all the teams, the same rules, at least, he continued. When told, with VAR anything could happen, he then said, "No, well, hopefully not." Arsenal's first dismissal of the campaign came all the way back in August, with Declan Rice shown a second yellow against Brighton for delaying the restart. Leandro Trossard got his marching orders for the same offence the following month, with Arsenal's 10 men coming within touching distance of holding out for a point at Manchester City, despite the red. Next came Saliba, who wrestled Evanilson to the ground during the trip to Bournemouth and saw a yellow card upgraded to red after a VAR check. Lewis Skelly was then shown a straight red against Wolves in January, with VAR upholding the decision, but the youngster's ban later overturned. But he wasn't so lucky after being sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity against West Ham. I am absolutely fuming, but I leave it with you, a furious Arteta told Sky Sports after that Wolves dismissal. Because it is that obvious. I don't think my words are going to help. Arsenal have avoided the same kinds of disciplinary issues in Europe, where they will take on Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday. Luis Enrique's side hold a narrow 1-0 advantage as they prepare to welcome the Gunners to the Parc des Princes. We need to prepare for the second match. It's going to be difficult, PSG boss Luis Enrique told Amazon Prime after Ousmane Dembele's first leg winner. The result means a little advantage for us. We are going to suffer, we know that. I think we can go to the final, but there is still one match. Whoever progresses out of Arsenal and PSG will face either Barcelona or Inter Milan in the final. Inter led 2-0 and 3-2 in the first leg at Montjuic, but had to settle for a draw thanks to an unfortunate own goal from keeper Jan Sommer.